just parked myself under this neat little footbridge here. It's been raining off and on, and I'm just trying to keep myself a little bit dry for this shot. The reason for that is I'm up around the 15 to 30 second mark for my exposures, and any little bit of rain or a little droplets on the front of my lens will ruin this image. So this footbridge to the Lake Bird Trail is an amazing place to stop under and take some pictures. Just don't get too close to the water's edge because it looks cold and that river is moving pretty fast as well. I've taken a few different sorts of shots here, and I think the best type of shot is with a medium lens zoom, and I've got the 85mm lens on. I've got a circular polarizer, and I've also got a 6-stop neutral density filter to really slow down the action here. The thing that's really quite moody here as well is off into the distance there's a layer of fog or steam coming off this river, and it's adding tons of atmosphere to this image. The sun is just starting to come through at the moment, and I think I've timed my exposures quite well to capture both the sun and the fog at the same time. And I'm just taking another exposure here at 15 seconds, and I've put the image on at 85mm like I said, and I've already got some beautiful catch light through this tree here, and I've got this amazing mist cutting across the river there as well. This is take one for Mount Robson, which is, like I said, the tallest mountain in Canada, and I'm going to try and get a nice picture of it down here. I am camping at the Robson River Campground, which is just due south of where I'm standing now, and I've really hoped to gain access to this river, which I've been lucky to find through a little trail at the entrance of the RV park. So a little bit of a location tip there for people. I have set the camera up by the side of the river, and this time I'm using a little bit of caution. I've lowered the tripod down a little bit because it's the second time on this trip I have managed to let the camera fall over, and lucky enough not to cause any damage. I've put the nice little rain bonnet on here as well. I don't want to lose my spot here today, and I don't want to be beaten by a bit of rainy weather, as I'm prepared to stick it out for a while down here. I've got about 3 hours until sunset, maybe a bit longer, and I'm hoping that the sun, which is just up there, bursts through those clouds a little bit and puts a little bit of wow factor or a bit of punch back in this landscape. I'm hoping that the mountain as well will clear just a little bit more on the top. You can just see the top peaks through the mist there, but it would be really nice to get a little bit more clarity and a little bit of hope. Just over the back left hand corner of the mountain there's a pocket of blue, so maybe that will give me a hint of hope that I'll get a really clear, beautiful mountain shot here tonight. So take one, Mount Robson. I've been here now probably an hour, maybe an hour and a half, and things are just starting to look interesting. I've had a really nice burst of light over the back of the hill, lighting this foreground up and making it magical, and that fog is starting to lift off the river again, and to my advantage even the mountain now feels like it's starting to clear as well. I'm getting a nice burst of blue over the back, and there's a pocket just coming through on the left hand side which is just starting to push away that cloud hanging over the mountain. So with a little bit of luck, in the next 15 minutes or so, I might be able to improve on the images I've already got. I've taken a few with parts of the mountain showing through, as you can see, but I can always just hope that that cloud will lift a little bit more and show a little bit more of its peaks. But as for now, I'm pretty wrapped with these results for the tallest mountain in Canada. Day 4 here in Canada, and I'm on the Icefields Parkway, and it is certainly getting touristy at the moment. I am going into Athabasca Falls, and I don't think I'm going to have this place to myself. I have noticed though, when you're doing your photography around here in Canada, if you wait till around tea time and afterwards to come to the more popular destinations, then there seems to be no one around. So I'll go and have a look at this at the moment. There's a bit of overcast sky, so I might not need to worry too much about light pollution on this waterfall. I will have a look now though, just in case it does come out sunny and I miss my opportunity, and I would have missed it altogether. So I'm just going to go and check out the fall and see if I can get some images. Just taken a few images of Athabasca Falls, and a little bit tricky. I think the tourists come in bus loads and it was hard to get a little position here for a tripod, so I have managed to sneak in. It looks empty here at the moment, but 5 minutes ago there was probably 100 people standing on this bridge. So I whipped out the tripod, took a few photos. I couldn't get super long exposures on this little bridge here because the vibration from the people standing here and walking was just enough to make it shake, so we'll get a bit of camera shake. We all know what that's like with long exposures. I have managed to take 3 images though at a roughly half a second long without any interference from the people walking over the bridge. You can probably see the bridge moving a little bit now, which doesn't give me huge confidence standing over this gorge. Anyhow, I'm going to explore further down this canyon. And see if there's any more images to be found at Athabasca. Just in the Icefields Parkway now, and it's coming on to sunset, well, sunset at 10 p.m, and I've just found this beautiful location for a evening photo. I'm a little bit more cautious though this afternoon. I've seen my first bear just on the side of the road not far from here, so they are around, and didn't think they were this time of year so much, but obviously they are. I just want to say I am glad I packed a secondary lens, an 85mm lens, as well as my ever used 35mm lens. And the thing that I found a little bit difficult here in Canada, as with a lot of big mountain ranges, is how dramatic and how big this landscape really is. And when I say big, the sense of scale can really elude a photographer into thinking they're actually quite close, those mountains, but really in reality they're a long way away because they're so tall. They just distort that sense of scale a bit. I'm going to park myself down by this glacial river and find a spot to shoot this mountain range in the background here. I've chosen that one. I just think the way that the light is bouncing off those faces to the west looks stunning at the moment, and I might just have a look up here and set myself up for that final composition of the day. Seriously, I want to catch a break here, and I've just missed a prime opportunity just up on my back right shoulder. I was probably 30 seconds away from setting up from this really amazing sight, and there was this beautiful rainbow, and the sun was brimming on the mountain, and it was lighting up a few of the flowers behind me, and I reckon I missed it by about 20 seconds. I just got my camera ready and I was about to press the the shutter button and the light just turned really flat, so quite disappointed about that. That's all timing, but I think I've got a little bit more time left in this day, and I can see the sun just starting to come back out over there, minus the rainbow. So I've come down here to the shore of the river here, and I've actually got a nice photo of the peak up in the background. There was some sun still brimming on that western face, and I've also managed to capture, if you can see right up there, I'll flick that up, but the moon is actually out as well. So I've got a nice image with the sunlit face here, and I've also got the moon up in the background. I've just arrived at Sunwapta Falls and setting up for an image down at the lower platform here. I did take a photograph up here at this bridge, which is where most photography is taken from. The sun is fully out right now, so I'm just playing cloud games, hoping for a bit of cloud coverage to grab an exposure. I have taken one picture down into this secondary fall, looking up to the pine trees here in the background, which looks quite nice. I've taken one picture with a lot of sun on the water, which looks quite good, adds some nice contrast to the picture. I'm shooting on the 35mm lens. I've got a circular polarizer on a 6-stop entry density filter, and I can get an exposure at f11 at 15 seconds, even in the bright sun. Just found a really cool waterfall on the side of the road, literally on the side of the road. You can just see behind me. I think this is a far more impressive waterfall than the last one I've just been to. It is a good opportunity to just stretch the legs here and also grab a picture without getting my feet too wet. I'm just standing in a little creek by the side of the road, just shooting a few pictures here, which are turning out quite well. I've just once again had to wait for a cloud. I've put a set of filters on the front just to slow the shutter speed down a little bit, and I'm shooting at about 15 seconds. What I have been doing lately with some of my images is allowing a little bit of sunlight into the composition. Typically with a waterfall, I usually wait for no sun at all and I wait for that cloud. But what I'm actually finding is by waiting for a little bit of catch light on some of the rocks and some of the leaves around the waterfall actually adds a little bit of contrast to the scene. So just playing around with a few different things, and for now back to the RV and motor on.